So agrivoltaics is a solution for sustainable land use in that it creates an opportunity for farmers and land stewards to remain on the land. In California, what we're seeing is the limiting of resources that enable farmers to continue farming. And what agrivoltaics does is it not only provides a predictable and steady stream of revenue that farmers can use to plan and invest in their land, but it also brings in environmental benefits that in the California context are particularly important, such as water savings benefits. And that further contributes to not just the economic side of reducing costs, as farmers and growers are seeing increased water costs, but also contributes towards our global environmental goals of reducing agricultural water demand to ensure that we can continue to produce and increase our food production while also working within the constraints of the natural elements of our planet. So drought-prone zones, I think we first need to talk about what is the broader climate context there. So there's a limiting of water availability, but what's driving that in California, a lot of that is heat. So we're not just talking about how can we reduce water consumption, but also how do we limit the impacts of heat. And we see that not just on the plant health, but we see that in terms of human health. And so now what you can see is if you get to a point where there's mass adoption of agrivoltaics in these drought-prone regions that are experiencing high temperatures, you see healthier plants, so you're securing your yield. You see a reduction in water demand, so you're shoring up water for your entire community. But most critical and important is you're going to be able to start to see improvements in human health. And farm workers are a group that sees the highest mortality rate because of heat stroke and heat death. And when you bring in this shade, sure, your crops are gonna see those benefits, but your farm workers who are out there harvesting and they're in the fields every day, they're the ones who are going to see the biggest benefit. So to reach mainstream adoption in agriculture, we need to increase awareness of this as a solution. A lot of landowners and a lot of farmers are being approached by solar developers to completely transform the land from agriculture to purely solar. Now, in some situations, that is the only viable option, but across California, there are a lot of farms that have the option to continue farming while integrating agrivoltaics and bringing in the energy systems together. They just don't know that that is an option that they have. So we need to continue to empower our communities to understand what options are available to them and ensure that there's an awareness of agrivoltaics as not just an energy solution, not just a water solution, but as a holistic community solution. And on top of that, we need policy that supports and carves out pathways for agrivoltaics implementation. Not every agrivoltaic site is going to be a large-scale utility site. Not every agrivoltaic site is going to be a small behind-the-meter site. There needs to be flexibility as these sites start to pick up speed and adoption and implementation across the state, so that those who are willing to take that first risk have flexibility to experiment a bit and be innovators, to then be that proof point for their neighbor to inspire widespread adoption.